Hello, welcome back to Sipology blog. As always, I'm Josh. I've never really been anybody else, like I said before, although I was reminded of this incident. When I was born, the nurse in the hospital in Indianapolis where I was born kept calling me Jerome for several days. And interestingly enough, to this very day, St. Jerome is one of my theological heroes, so do with that what you will. All right. Right now we have another new product whose name is also a pun on the idea of the angel share. This is Angel's Envy, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, finished in port wine barrels, or port pipes as they are sometimes known. I have notes again, so I'm not going to go over, I swear, or ramble for that matter. Again, the angel share is an old whiskey term coming from Scotland, I think, that refers to the evaporation in the barrel. And I believe Angel's Envy refers to the fact that this is a finished bourbon. In other words, it's finished in a different sort of barrel than it's aged in. And so the angels are envious of the finish, and they wish they could get some of that too, I guess. I guess that's what they're trying to do. So now there's been a bit of controversy in some circles about whether it's even possible for something to be a bourbon if it's been finished in port wine barrels, or in the case of Beam's Red Stag, if it's had cherry flavoring added to it. Now there have been other bourbons released that have had finishes in other sorts of barrels. There was the Wild Turkey Sherry Signature, which I believe was finished in a sherry cask. And I believe there's also the Beam Distiller's Masterpiece that I believe was also finished in some sort of wine barrel. I don't know too much about that one. I did come across one of those in a liquor store once, but it was over $100 and thus out of my price range. Anyhow, it is true that the regulations for bourbon say that no artificial coloring or flavoring can be added. However, that is before it becomes fully bourbon. Once it's bourbon, it's bourbon. You can't unbourbon it. So, if you do want to age something in the new charred oak barrel, something with the proper mash bill, and make it bourbon, you can then take it to another barrel and give it a finishing, and that's perfectly legal, as long as you specify that on the bottle, like they've done here. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey finished in port wine barrels. So they're upfront about what it is, and so it's perfectly legal. Anyhow, finishing in sherry or port barrels is much more common with Scotch than it is with bourbon. I think that is because Scotch is, single malt Scotches are inherently milder. They're not as strongly flavored as bourbons are usually. An exception being the really smoky, peaty Scotches from the Isle of Islay. I believe I'm pronouncing that right. Spelled I-S-L-A-Y. Anyhow, it's much more common in the Scotch world. But, like I said, it's been done in the bourbon world too. And this Angel's Envy is the first release from what will be a series of whiskeys. I don't know if they'll all be called Angel's Envy, or if Angel's Envy is just the first one, the other one will have another name, Devil's Delight or something. They can't use Devil's Cut now, obviously. But you'll see on you'll see the bottle. It's shaped, I don't know if you can see it, but if you look through the bottle, you will see little angel's wings. And that's why, here I'll turn it around, you can probably see it more clearly back there. That's why the bottle is shaped like this, to sort of simulate the shape of the angel's wings. A friend of mine thinks it is shaped more like a fish than angel's wings. Maybe she'll start referring to it as fish's envy, or I don't know, mackerel's envy, something like that. Anyhow, This is first whiskey of a series from Lincoln Henderson and his son Wes Henderson. Lincoln was for many years master distiller at Brown-Forman Corporation. Brown-Forman makes Old Forester, Brown-Forman makes Early Times, Brown-Forman owns Woodford Reserve, and an obscure little whiskey from Tennessee called Jack Daniels. So Lincoln worked there for many years, but now he struck out on his own with his son Wes, and he's in the midst of securing a location and then building a micro distillery in Louisville that will also serve as a sort of tourist attraction. Hopefully once that gets going, he'll be able to age his own whiskey there, but for now they're bottling someone else's whiskey. We don't know who made this whiskey. My tongue and nose tells me it may be from the Barton 1792 distillery, but my nose could be wrong. It's hard to say. Some people have said it must be from Brown-Forman since he used to work there, but I don't think that's necessarily true. Anyway, so without further ado, let's go ahead and give it a pour. Angel's Envy is not available in the great state of Michigan. However, I believe it is available in Kentucky. It might be available in Indiana. I'm not positive, but it's definitely available in Kentucky. Let's check the time there. Okay, we're actually doing pretty well. Let's see. Okay. Yeah. All right, we're doing good. So, if you'll look, it's pretty light. It could be my imagination, but I detect a slight pinkish hue. There's a hue. Slight pinkish hue in the glass there. This is my Glencairn glass. All of them have logos on them, so I apologize that I'm drinking Angel's Envy out of an Evan Williams Master Distillers Select Glencairn. If that bothers you, well, then that says more about you than about me, doesn't it? Something to think about. Okay. Take a whiff. Lots of fruit. Fruity, which one would expect. It's finished in a wine barrel, port wine barrel. Grapes are fruit, grapes make the wine, etc. That's to be expected. The question is, what fruit am I getting? With port finished scotches, I often get strawberry out of it. And I definitely get strawberry here. Yeah, a lot of strawberry. But I'm also getting a lot of alcohol, frankly. Again, this is a no age statement whiskey, and it is 86.6 proof. I forgot to go over the vital statistics. Let's see if we can find anything else here. A label, no, that's about it. But you can visit them online at angelsenvy.com. Anyhow, fruit. I get strawberry. I get kind of a fruit punch kind of flavor to it, like a Kool-Aid fruit punch kind of thing, where there's no specific fruits that I can really pick out very well, but it has that same kind of flavor. Maybe Hawaiian punch, something like that. If I was pressed, I would say I'm getting some pineapple. Check the time there. Doing good. Some pineapple and strawberry. Maybe a little bit of mango. Maybe, not a lot. Some sort of mystery fruit I can't quite pin down. Maybe papaya. Maybe breadfruit, which actually has no flavor at all. All right, well, I could sniff this all day. It's got a very complex, very nice nose, but I'm not going to. I'm going to drink it now. Got some nice body to it. Really nice, pleasant. The fruit definitely comes through on the palate. On the palate, I still get those Hawaiian punch kind of flavors, but also some vanilla in there, which is very nice, complements it very well. It makes it feel even more kind of tropical, you know, like a Madagascar vanilla, and it's very nice. Some of the vanilla, I get some sweet butter, a pineapple, papaya, mango, strawberry, maybe a bit of cherry too. Almost some kind of sangria thing going on here too, to continue this sort of punchy metaphors. Kind of punchy. Yeah. Anyhow, so I better start wrapping up here. My time is ticking away. Now, it is a bit hot. The finish is very light and delicate, but there is some heat to it, and its youth is pretty apparent in this whiskey. But the port barrel finishing covers a lot of that up, which I think is very smart thing to do. Not that it's covering up necessarily a flaw, or that it's bad young whiskey. It's good. It's clearly good, well distilled, well crafted whiskey. It's just young, but the port barrel influence balances that out quite nicely. I don't remember how much I paid for it, but I think it was over 30. But I think it's definitely worth it. It's really a unique product, again, and I highly recommend it, and I highly look forward to the next release from Lincoln and Wes Henderson, and wish them Godspeed on building their micro distillery. All right, so again, Angel's Envy recommended. Thank you for visiting. What's the name of my blog again? Sipology blog. That's right. Thank you again for visiting Sipology blog, and I'll see you around. Bye.